Hello guys, so I just did this model in Rhino 3D. So in this video we are going to see how to do this model, and I'm going to teach you step by step that how to do this model easily and quickly. And these steps will be useful for doing any other organic shape like this. You can implement these steps in your model also. So I'm just minimizing and opening a new file. So now I'm checking, I'm just typing units on command prompt so that I could check my units so I'm setting my units to meters. Please be sure that what units you're working on it, so always check the units before working. So now I should create the form. So I'm just bringing out the image which I took. So just a screenshot. So if you want to bring in an image, you should just drag it into the Rhino file. So it will ask these options. So picture, wallpaper, material, environment. I'm giving it as picture. So now it asks for the first corner of the picture, and now it's asking for the other corner of the picture. So I'm placing like a rectangle. So now I'm turning on auto option, which is in the bottom of the Rhino tab. Now I'm using gumball to rotate. So now I'm using line command, and I want the start of the line should be at the center. So I'm just giving value 0, 0 as a start value. So and the end value is a random value. So I'm giving an end value to this. So now I'm placing the image with using move command, and it's asking for the point to move from. I'm clicking this as the point. I'm placing the image in the exact center. So now I'm switching the tab to front. So double clicking the tab will maximize and minimize view. So I'm just double clicking into front to get a maximized view of the front. So now I should trace this curve. So I'm using interpolate curve. So now I am just turning off auto. So now I'm tracing the shape with this interpolate curve. So actually I traced out the shape. So this shape is going to be revolved around with a different size to create this form. So I'm using line, and I'm drawing exact center of the shape. I'm using auto so that I could get a perpendicular line. So now I'm connecting this point perpendicular to the line which I drawn to indicate the center of the model. So now I'm drawing another line to this line. So now I don't need this model, just I'm deleting it. So I'm just using trim command. So I'm just using control point. I'm just adjusting the control point to adjust the curve little bit. Yeah, okay, this is fine. So now I am maximizing the perspective tab by double clicking on the tab name. So I'm using move command and placing it on the exact center. So I'm just offsetting the curve with the value of 2, and you can give the value by clicking the distance So I'm just entering 2 and pressing enter. So if you want to change your distance, you can go into distance and change your value. So I just offset it. So I'm just using line to join these two ends. So I don't need this part, so I'm just using trim command. Actually it's not joined perfectly, so I'm just using extend command to first extend. Then I'm using trim command. So next I'm just selecting all these 3 curves and using join. You could join the curves by using join command. Ctrl J is the shortcut for join command. I'm drawing another line in between these 2 curves, and I'm trimming the extra line. So then I'm coming out of the command by pressing escape. Then I'm using Ctrl J for joining, so which is a shortcut. So now I'm giving scale command on the command prompt. So it is asking to select the object to scale. So this is the object I want to scale, and it's asking to base point. So I'm giving the base point at the center, and the scale factor reference point is this end. So in this, click copy as yes, so that it don't affect the parent and creates a new copy of scale. So I'm done with my scaling, so I'm using copy command to copy this line. So now I'm using trim command. And using escape to coming out of the trim command. Now I'm pressing Ctrl J to join these lines. So everything is done. So now I'm using rotate command and selecting. So it's asking select object to rotate. I'm just selecting this object, and I'm just turning off ortho. So I need a random direction around this one. So the distance, the space between these 2 curves are the entrance, whereas other space will be getting revolving axis like this. So it will be the entrance, act as an entrance. So I done with the wireframe, that is the shape. Now I should give a path where these 2 will create a model. So I'm using spiral. So if you click your mouse button, left mouse button, it will give spiral option. If you click the right mouse button in this, you will get flat spiral. So I'm clicking flat spiral. So I'm just clicking the center. So I'm just it's asking spiral center. I'm just giving the spiral center. Then it's asking for the first radius. I'm giving the first radius as the bigger arc and the second radius as the smaller arc, inner of the smaller arc. So in Rhino, if you want to trim a curve, it's not compulsory that the line should always have a physical contact. So the line you can trim the lines when it has also a visual contact. So in this, the line is having a visual contact. So I'm just trimming. So actually these 2 lines are not physically touched, but it's visually touched in this angle. So I'm trimming with the help of this method, which is a really useful method. So I'm just dragging the control point to this point. So I'm just rebuild the curve with the control points. So the bottom path has been assigned. So now we should assign the top part. So I'm using a spiral. So I'm just pressing the mouse left button So it's asking start of the axis is here, and the end of the axis is here, and it asking the first radius is here, and the second radius is this one. So now I'm placing it on the top. So the down path, that is the bigger path, as flowing in this direction, but the smaller path is being flowing in the opposite direction. You want both the parts should be same in the same direction, flow in the same direction. So I'm just mirroring the path using mirror command. So I'm deleting the previous one. So now I'm using scale 1D. Scale 1D is a command which allows you to scale only in single direction. So it is asking select the object and select the giving enter. Then it's asking for the base point. This is its base point and this is the reference point. So I can scale this point. So as I said before, if you want to trim, it should not. So as I said before, it's not mandatory that if you want to trim the line should compulsory join each other. Actually, if you want to trim in Rhino, if it's visually contact with one another, we can trim it. So these lines are visually contact with one another, so I'm trimming this. See, but technically it does not have any contact physically with other lines. So I'm just dragging this line here. So I done with my framework. Now I'm using swipe to rails. So it's asking for the first rail. I'm assigning the first rail as the bottom rail and the second rail as the top rail, and I'm pressing shift to select the cross section. Now I'm pressing enter. So I'm getting the shape, so I'm pressing OK with it. Now I'm changing it to shader so I could see the 3D properly. Okay. So now I'm using circle. So next command I'm going to use is array. So that is polar array. So I'm going to select this object to be arrayed, pressing enter, and the center of the axis is this one, and it's asking for the number. I'm giving it 24, and the angle is given as 360. Yeah. So I'm just selecting all the lines by pressing shift, which can allow you to select multiple selection. So I'm going to project these lines to this 3D model. So now I'm going to use project command. So it's asking for the curves which has to be projected. So I'm just selecting this curve, and it's asking for the surface. I'm just giving this surface, that is this model which has been created. So now the lines has been projected to this 3D model. So just turning off the 3D model, now you can see it. So I'm just deleting this line which is so too close to the start one. So now I'm just hiding these lines. So I'm just selecting all the projection lines which has been created and giving explode. So explode is a command which makes the join line into unjoin. So now I'm going to use Loft command, which is here. So I'm going to press the top curve. So I'm going to select Loft, and I need to select the top curve and the bottom curve, then press enter. So you should give this option, that is straight section and rebuild with 12. When you do to simply, it creates n number of lines which will make your file heavier. So just give rebuild with 12 or 15 control points. Okay, so I'm going to uh, do this method with all the curves, just pressing space, so it will automatically go into Loft command. It will automatically go into the previous command by pressing space. So it's asking to select the curve to lock, and I'm giving space. So I'm going to do this method for this entire curve. So I'm going to do this method for the entire curve. So actually I'm done with my lofting. So actually done loft with all the curves, so it will give you a spiral shaped form like this. So now I'm going to use offset surface command, surface, and distance I'm going to give you as 1.6. So the arrows here are pointing outwards, but I want the arrow should be pointed inwards, so I'm just clicking flip all. So I'm pressing F enter instead of clicking on flip all. So I'm going to do this for every surface which I have been created. So next command I'm going to use this. I'm just going to create a strip for every surface which has been, every 3D petal which has been created like this. So like this, I want to create a strip for every surface which has been created. So, so I'm just maximizing the front tab. So I want to go into top tab. So now I'm just deleting this 2 which is not going to use for us. I'm just selecting the rest of the lines which has been created. And now I'm going using command. I'm just rotating with a slight value. So now I'm just switching to perspective. So I'm going to use project again, and it's asking for select the surface. I need this surface. So it has been projected down here. So now I'm going to use split command. So it's asking for the object to split. I want this object to be splitted, and it's asking for select cutting object, and the line which has been projected will act as a cutting object. So now we will get a strip. So we should do this process for entire surface one by one. I'm just selecting this. I'm just pressing space, which automatically. I'm just pressing space, which automatically come over the previous command. So now I'm using split. So I'm just asking select object to split. So now I'm just selecting. It's asking for select cutting object. So I'm giving the cutting object. So I'm done with giving the split option. So I'm done with giving steps for the model. So next I should do this oval, this form. So now I'm just moving this curve which has been created. A copy of it by using gumball. I'm deleting the upper curve. I'm using line. I'm clicking the vertical option. So I'm just joining this and using trim. So I'm going to use scratch. So in this, you should always pick adjust tangency and automatic trim, so which will give you the exact shape of this. So which will give you the exact shape of the curve as a surface. So I got the surface now. So now I'm going to use contour command. So I'm declaring. So it's asking for the base point. So I'm giving the contour distance as 1. So it will give you a number of lines with a spacing of 1 meter. So I'm using the extrude option. I'm giving 0.2. So the lines which I have created the contour, the lines which have been created by the contour command. So I'm just deleting it. So now I'm using last created object. So it will select you the object which you've been created by using the last command. So now I'm using extrude surface in this direction. Now I'm going to press 0.2 to give you a slab. So I'm just deleting the surface. So it will give you a slab like this. Now I've created the vertical strips. Now I'm going to create a horizontal strip like this. So I'm using the contour command again. So it's asking for the object. So I'm just selecting the object. So I'm just giving the contour base point in the vertical axis. So So it created a contour. So I'm using the same command extrude curve 0.2 as extrusion value, deleting the lines. Now I'm using last created object. So I'm using extrude surface this time. So the up direction I'm giving 0.2 and deleting the surface. So I'm just adding this. So I got it, but I won't see there are different surfaces. So I want to join all the pattern, all the slab which has been created by selecting this and pressing Ctrl, and just can select by pressing. I'm just selecting this by pressing Ctrl. I can unselect the selections, so I don't need these lines. So now I'm using Boolean union, which will merge all the surface as one. So the Boolean union has been done. When I select one, every slab will be got connected to each other, but the surfaces are not connected, so I don't get a clear surface in the junction cross section. So I'm using merge all face command. So this command will give you a clear surface, so there's no lines in between the surface. So now I got line. So I'm going to use pipe on this curve line. So thickness of the pipe is 0.2. So I done with the pattern which has to become at the front. So now I'm giving a thickness for this, so I'm just moving it on. So I'm using extrude surface. So I'm done with this, so I'm just grouping it. So I'm just deleting the outer skin which we have created before to get this spiral model. I'm just going to draw a vertical line. So I'm done with the base covering. So now I'm going to draw a circle. I'm just extruding it. So the model is finally finished. So just give me. So I'm just using. So now I'm just using select curves and deleting all the lines. All is done. So give me your comments about this tutorial and about the model which I have done in the Rhino. Videos are going to post it on our channel in upcoming days. So stay tuned and watch the video, and see you on the next video. Tada, bye bye.